Wonderful. And with that, let's jump into today's topic, expanded alcohol service application and permitting training. I'm excited to serve as your moderator today. I'm Amanda DeSico, and I'm glad to see everyone's here. We're 48 days away from the first World Cup match in Seattle, and we're here to talk about the expanded alcohol permitting and usage to create lively experiences as we ramp up for what will be one of the most significant events in our region's history. As part of our commitment to business readiness and resilience during this opportunity, the Chamber is proud to convene this series to help businesses plan and prepare. Today, we're joined by the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board, often called the LCB, City of Seattle, Seattle Department of Transportation, and myself. Today, we will cover the LCB's new temporary opportunities that expand where and how alcohol can be sold and served, the application process and timelines, enforcement, and public space management. Now, I'd like to introduce our wonderful speakers. First, we have Jeanette Holm Martin, who started her state service with the LCB in 2023 as a licensing trainer, and now is working on the SSHB 1515 Expanded Alcohol Service Project. Jeanette enjoys program implementation and is looking forward to being part of the success of the FIFA events and expanded service around the state of Washington. Jeanette brings a unique perspective of public safety from her years of working at Disneyland, so she definitely incorporates fun into her job and is excited to share her experience with you today. Next up is Kia Pitskowski, Special Event Program Manager and Special Events Committee Chair for the City of Seattle. With over 20 years of experience in event industry, building relationships, managing complex, large-scale, and high-profile events across public, nonprofit, and private sectors, she brings a collaborative, people-focused approach to both work and life. She was honored by the Seattle Sports Commission Region Ready for her contribution in coordinating the 2026 Seahawks Championship Parade, which I attended, so I would like to give an extra award if that makes any difference. Outside of work, Kia loves traveling to enjoy outdoor activities, art and food, and is a proud season ticket holder of the Seattle Reign and Seattle Torrent. Next up, we have Patrick Pirtle. He is a senior public space planner and project manager with a strong track record of delivering complex, community-centered projects across Seattle and the Pacific Northwest. Currently with the Seattle Department of Transportation, he helps lead downtown activation initiatives, manages business enhancement programs, and oversees public life data efforts that help inform equitable and vibrant spaces. Covering enforcement today is Lieutenant Robert Reeder, who has been with the LCB since 2014 and has served as an enforcement and education supervisor since 2018. He and his team serve the citizens and business communities within the downtown, east, west, and southern areas of Seattle. He also serves as the lead LCB representative on Seattle's Special Events Committee, providing guidance and advice to event producers and our city's agencies on legal and safe applications of the state's alcohol laws and rules. And rounding out our panel is Bridget Zoller. Bridget started her state service with the LCB in 2022 as a customer service specialist and is now a program specialist for the SSHB 1515 Expanded Alcohol Service Project team. Her dedicated work ethic and devotion to customer service has been a great value and in building this team from the ground up. She is looking forward to seeing businesses and local economies thrive under this legislation. And with that, I'm going to hand over the mic to Bridget.
Thanks so much, Amanda. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and get everything started. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us today. My name is Bridget Zoller. I'm a program specialist for the Liquor and Cannabis Board's Expanded Alcohol Services team. I'm also here today with Jeanette Holm Martin, our other program specialist, as well as Lieutenant Robert Reeder from our Enforcement and Education Division. We're here today to discuss the implementation of Second Substitute House Bill 1515, or more casually referred to as just 1515, for expanded alcohol services. So our agenda today will cover the following topics. We'll provide an in-depth look at expanded outdoor alcohol service under the 1515 allowance. We're going to look into logging into the new LCB portal, looking at the overall application flow. Then we'll walk through the application process and Jeanette will provide an overview on applying. After that, we'll briefly go over the GIS map. Then Lieutenant Reeder will provide some insight from the enforcement side of things. And finally, we'll provide the available resources for expanded alcohol services. And we should have time for questions later, but if you end up having questions after today, you can send them to our team at expandedalcoholservices@lcb.wa.gov, and we'll share that email again at the end of the presentation. Now we'll go over what expanded outdoor alcohol service is. This authorization allows for cities, towns, counties, and port authorities to request for expanded outdoor alcohol service within a public area or areas of the requesting jurisdiction. Within an approved jurisdiction, eligible licensees may then apply for the added activity for expanded outdoor service. Local governments may request this authorization for an ongoing period through December 31st, 2027, and licensees may apply for the added activity to be allowed to share an outside service area for the same duration of time. Licensees may also request for the expanded outdoor service to only be for a specific amount of time or set dates until December 31st, 2027. The eligible licensees are beer wine restaurants, spirits beer wine restaurants, taverns, domestic wineries, breweries and microbreweries, distilleries, and snack bars. This allows liquor licensees located within an approved jurisdiction to share an outside service area with other licensees and non-licensees. For example, a spirits beer wine restaurant may share an outdoor expanded service area with the non-licensed cafe next door, so a family with children can all occupy the shared area while an adult purchases and consumes an alcoholic beverage, and others can purchase food and non-alcoholic beverages from the cafe while occupying that shared expanded service area. While expanded outdoor alcohol service allows for more flexibility and mobility for patrons, it does not change some laws and rules. Licensees are not able to pop up and serve alcohol at a location outside of their liquor licensed premises. Expanded outdoor service doesn't create a sip and stroll environment. Patrons are able to move freely within the designated expanded service area, but they will not be able to take alcoholic beverages into licensed or non-licensed businesses within that expanded service area, or take their alcoholic beverages outside of the expanded service area, and they cannot bring their own alcohol into the expanded service area to consume. In addition to what is on this slide, this bill didn't change any rules for cannabis licensees or rules for public consumption of cannabis. Liquor licensees have some responsibilities when it comes to expanded alcohol services. After the local government's authorization has been approved, licensees permanently located within the approved expanded service area can then submit an added activity application in the LCB portal. All licensees wanting to participate will need access to the LCB portal. The licensees will need to decide which boundary option they'll use, either a permanent or movable barrier or a permanent fence-free demarcation. Your local government will determine barrier height as well as the distance between entrances and exits, so we'll refer to that application from the local government to make sure applying licensees are meeting that requirement. Each participating licensee must ensure an employee with a masked permit is assigned to the expanded service area when patrons are present. While a mask trained employee must be assigned to the area, it's not required for them to be inside that outdoor expanded service area at all times when patrons are present. The primary licensee will submit a joint operating plan and a site map of the proposed shared area, as well as list all the participating licensees. In the joint operating plan, it should be detailed how all participating licensees will differentiate between alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. Alcoholic beverages should be in distinct or unique containers that cannot be confused for non-alcoholic drinks. All participating licensees must accept joint responsibility for any violation or enforcement issue, and Lieutenant Reeder will share a little more on that later. As mentioned previously, all participating licensees will need to access the LCB portal to participate. The LCB has a new portal system that was rolled out just last year, so many licensees have not accessed their portal account yet, and those that haven't will need to create an account. To create a new portal account, each person on the entity will be required to create a secure access Washington or SAW account to access the portal. Please make sure when you're setting up your portal account that you choose a primary contact from your entity. This will help for any questions from us at the LCB, any notifications to your account, or being able to receive the joint responsibility attestation task. Now we're going to provide an overview of the entire application process for local governments and licensees. First, the requesting local government applies for one of the 3 authorizations. They'll submit an operating plan, a site map, and provide some geographical information of the proposed area so our team can map it in GIS. The City of Seattle has already completed this step and has received approval for the entire city limits for expanded outdoor alcohol service. After the local government receives approval, eligible licensees within the now approved area may apply for the added activity in the portal for the approved authorization. Licensees interested in participating are highly encouraged to first work with their local government to see if there's any local permitting requirements or other local responsibilities before applying. There's no fee for licensees to apply for one of these added activities with the LCB. Licensees can submit their own application for an individual expanded area or designate a primary licensee for a shared area and list all participating licensees. Every license that's listed will receive a task in the LCB portal to complete an attestation for joint responsibility. Once we've received the attestation from all participating licensees, we can approve the added activity application given that all other requirements are met. Licensees can choose to operate the expanded outdoor service area during only specific dates and times, but those dates and times do need to be recorded in the joint operating plan. Any changes from the local government or participating licensees after approval must be submitted through the LCB portal as a general request. Some examples for these general requests are changes to the boundary, the joint operating plan, site maps, participating licensees, or requests to end the authorization early. From here, Jeanette will go a little more in depth over the licensee's application process from start to finish.
Hello. So I'm here to walk you through our application and how your process is going to happen. So the first thing that you're going to do to be able to apply is work with all of your local licensees that you plan to participate with together. You will then put in an added activity in our LCB portal. Once you've started the added activity, you will select the type. You will put in all of your primary contact information and activity information of when you would like to start the activation. And then you will list all participating licensees that will be in your joint area together. You will then complete the attestation for joint responsibility. And then after that, you will upload a joint operating plan and a site map to let us know how you plan to set up the area, the type of barriers that you plan to use, as well as the site map to let us know where all licensees are located in that area. So here is our portal. I'm going to show you the application for expanded outdoor alcohol service. So we'll start with, you're going to go into your account and click on My Account, and then you're going to click on your entity account, which is your business account. From there, it'll open up all of the licenses that you have available through that entity. You will click on the license and authorization to see all of those. Once you pull them up, you are going to click on the additional options for the specific license that you would like to put this under. From there, you will be able to see the added outdoor service. So you'll be able to do the add expanded outdoor service. So we're going to click on that. It will then take you to put in your primary contact information and your location information of where the expanded service will be, as well as the event date of when you plan to start this activation and end it. From here, you'll be brought to a page to be able to add all of the other license numbers of licensees that will be participating with you. This will only allow you to put in licensees that do qualify. So it'll send you a little error message if they don't qualify. But if they do, you'll be able to put their number in. So you'll put all those in one by one. You can enter into about 20. If your group is going to be more than 20 licensees, you can just send us an email and we will assist you with getting more than 20 in there. Once you have gotten all your licensees in, you will then it'll take you to your attestation. You will read over that attestation for joint responsibility, click the box, and then click next. And that will bring you to your submissions page. So your submissions, and on our web page for our expanded services web page that will be shared with you today, we have your joint operating plan file that you can use that has all the questions for you that you just need to answer. This will be in terms of how you plan to keep the area clean and working with the other licensees, how to differentiate the cups that you're using. Those are the type of questions that will be there, as well as you will add your site map. And we also have a guide on how to create your site map to show us all the licensees that will be in the area. Once you've added those in, it will then bring you to your confirmation and your application will be complete. And then from there, the system is going to take over and send all the participating licensees that you put in that previous window. They're going to send them all the attestation task. They will receive an email. So specifically, the person that is listed as the main contact for that business is going to be the one to receive the email and the task. So that's why it's important we have you in the portal beforehand. So you'll receive an email to let you know there is a task. You're going to go into the portal, onto that task, and you're going to read the responsibility for joint responsibility and then click task complete, and that will finish it. So in our next, we're going to look at this is what the task will look like. So once you open it up, you will see this. You will read the comments. That is the information about the task. And then when you click mark complete, that will complete your attestation. And then once we receive all attestations from all licensees and the application is reviewed and ready to go, we can then approve the application, but not until all tasks have been completed by the participating licensees. And I saw that we had a couple questions of how do we know what areas have been approved? This is how we know. So we have our GIS system. This is specifically for expanded service. We have a couple different layers on here. We have our expanded service, fan zones, and civic campuses. So each color will show the different ones. Your expanded service the green boxes are all of the cities that have currently been approved and the areas that those cities have approved to have expanded service. We are currently working through some licensee applications. As soon as they are finished, we are going to mark on there all of the licensees that have been approved and the groups that are going to go with them together. So you'll see all the different groups of licensees on this map as well. So just keep giving it a look and you'll see everything as it's getting updated. So from here, I'm going to hand it over to Lieutenant Reeder, and he is going to talk more through some enforcement rules and joint responsibility.
All right. Let me pull up my notes. All right, everybody. Good morning. I'm Lieutenant Robert Reeder. I'm a lieutenant with the Enforcement Education Division. I'm not going to sit here and give you guys a bunch of warnings as to what to not do. I just want to give a few considerations and some support that we in enforcement can offer you guys as licensees and purveyors of this program. So WAC 314-03-200 subsection 5 covers the joint responsibility clause of the expanded alcohol services and allows us in LCB enforcement to cite multiple licenses for a single violation. However, just because we are able to cite multiple businesses does not mean that that's going to be our policy. Every violation that we see and every complaint that we receive in these areas are going to be investigated and handled individually on a case-by-case basis. We're not out here trying to wield a hammer and get everybody in trouble for every little thing. With that said, though, please help each other out. If your business is on the corner and you see an overserved person or a minor in possession of alcohol down the street, help each other out. and licensees helping each other out is going to ensure that, you know, the highest level of safety is maintained in these spaces, as well as the most enjoyable experience for patrons. Second bullet, please ensure that all staff, including security, are familiar with the signs of overservice, how to check IDs and passports, and are willing and able to cut people off and remove them from the area if necessary. It's good to remember that there's going to be people from all over the world attending these games and these events. So your ability to talk to people and use your what we call verbal judo, if someone wants to escalate a situation, is going to be paramount to maintaining the highest level of safety. And I'll have a part on that in the next slide. So if a service area will be using demarcations instead of physical barriers, we recommend clearly showing where the footprint begins and ends, so people don't leave the area with alcohol. The demarcations, depending on how busy these areas are going to be, aren't going to be very easily visible to the patrons. So using things like signage or landscaping or spray paint or whatever the city would allow to clearly delineate where these spaces are will help people stay in these areas and not, you know, go into the street or go walk along the sidewalk with alcohol and then get in trouble. Next slide, please. Here's some support that we offer. So LCB Enforcement offers a free responsible liquor sales training class to licensees and employees. This training can be done online or in person. It doesn't matter the number of people. It's completely free. Reach out to your assigned enforcement officer or me, and we can get that coordinated for you at your earliest convenience. Lastly, enforcement can coordinate walkthroughs of expanded service areas and make recommendations on security and other safety factors either before or during the licensing process if you guys are doing expanded service area, or you're part of a fan zone, or if you're part of the civic service. So we can come out and look at, you know, egress or ingress and egress and see where maybe people can be posted up or rovers or any of those type of considerations. We can come out on site and help you guys go through that process so you can have a really good plan before you submit your application. And lastly, I included my colleague, Lieutenant Rick Smith's email information as well, because he has the north part of Seattle while I have basically the rest of it. So if you have any other questions after this meeting, please give us an email and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you. And I will be tossing it right back to Bridget.
Thanks so much, Robert. All right, so in closing for our presentation, we'd like to share some information related to expanded alcohol services and where to find more resources. Included on the slide here are some links, which includes the LCB's Expanded Alcohol Services webpage, which has some really helpful information for local governments and licensees on the temporary allowances, as well as an FAQ, which answers a lot of questions. The GIS map for expanded alcohol services is also located on that same webpage. We also have linked a user guide for first-time user registration for the LCB portal. Our team created a really helpful user guide for applying for the expanded alcohol services, which is shared as well. And we also have the WACs listed for the expanded alcohol services rules if you want to look more into those. And that concludes the presentation for us on the LCB side. So next up, we have Patrick Pirtle from the Seattle Department of Transportation. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for having me and allowing me to share so I'm a senior public space planner with SDOT, Public Space Management Program, and our program permits all of the non-construction activities within the right-of-way. And so that includes outdoor dining, as well as some of the other permits that I want to share with you all today to kind of highlight all the different improvements that you can do within the right-of-way in Seattle for FIFA, including expanded alcohol service within the right-of-way. Kia from the Office of Economic Development will also share some information about our special events permits, which kind of align with some of our permits, but there's different thresholds that need to be met in order to kind of bounce between either of those permits. So I will jump on in. To start with, these are the mission, visions, and goals and values of SDOT. Some of the ones that are most important to this is really prioritizing economic vitality as well as livability, and really wants to support businesses any way we can in order to achieve a more sustainable future for everyone. And so I will be talking about public space management as well as our programs and then some of our permit resources. And so public space management is actually a one-stop shop for all of these permits. We have our own reviewers, our own inspectors, as well as our program development team, which I'm on, which helps support local communities in engaging in our permits, recognizing that a lot of our permits are designed for construction. And so folks who aren't aligned with that background might need some more support, as well as we help kind of identify new opportunities for each of our programs. So this is a list of our 4 primary programs that I'll talk through and kind of showcase these different opportunities. So the first one is our Vibrant Communities permitting program, which allows businesses and communities to install different kind of elements within the right-of-way to help activate that, from street furniture to murals, to signal box art to pole banners within your community, all of which are free permits and ones that anyone from the community can apply for. We also have our People Streets permit, which allows community to get a permit to close off part of the right-of-way to host different events. And depending on the size of that event, that really dictates if it's either a permit from our team's public space management or one through Kia's team at the Office of Economic Development. And I will let Kia talk through kind of the different thresholds that exist that differentiate her special events permit from our People Streets permits.
Thank you, Patrick. So hi, everybody. Kia Patskowski, Special Events Program Manager with the City of Seattle. Next slide, please, Patrick. There we go. So what is a special event? There's a lot of boxes that can be ticked to help with this definition, but generally our office permits events with more than 50 people utilizing a public right-of-way. That can be a sidewalk, that can be a street or an alley, and or the event might require considerable public services. So that looks like things like maybe you're doing something and you need the support of the police department to facilitate crosswalks for a fundraising walk or something like that. We also permit events that happen in Seattle parks that either have alcohol sales to the public and or more than anywhere between 500 and 1,000 people in that park, depending on the size of that park and how many folks that park was intended to handle for things like events. We also sometimes permit events that are in private spaces when they have over 500 people at them, require significant city resources, things like, again, police presence and or temporary noise variance if you have amplified noise outside of the permitted amplified noise hours within the city. And if that event is going to have significant impact to the neighborhood that it's being held in, i.e., let's say you've got 1,000 people going to an event where there's not usually events and parking and transportation might get a little complicated, you might be coming to the special events office to get a permit for that. Patrick's team and public space management can and do permit events with fewer than 300 people at them. So our teams do a lot of talking with each other on a regular basis when we've got applications for things to see if our department or public space management is the more appropriate entity to permit things. Next slide. So what is a special event permit? That is a collection of permission documents to hold your special events. Our special events office collects information from applicants and shares that out to our special events committee that has 15 agencies across the city, King County, and also the state of Washington. You heard Lieutenant Reeder share, or I think in his bio, he represents Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board on the special events committee. That information is reviewed by all of those agencies Our office also helps with customer service and coordinating needs and questions that applicants may have for reviewers and or that questions that reviewers might have for applicants, kind of helping demystify and translate needs and regulations, etc. We also essentially provide a single repository for major permission documents in our online permitting software, things like your park use permits, SDOT permits, transportation, traffic control plans, noise variances, etc. Next slide. Thank you. There are other ways to have events and activations in the city, things like extended service areas, what we're talking about today. There are also events that are permitted separately from special events and public space management at Seattle Center, for instance, down at the waterfront and in Seattle parks. And there are lots of venues across the city that are their own standard private property events, places like Showbox Soto, the Neptune Theater, our major stadiums, things like Husky Stadium or T-Mobile Park, for instance. And since we're here to really focus on World Cup, there's some things to consider if you're looking to do an event on a World Cup match day. Resource capacity across the city is going to be a real thing that we'll all be navigating together, so something to keep in mind. There is a street use moratorium in downtown and around the stadium as far as special events go. We'll share that in a hot second. And then our application deadlines for special events also are a much longer lead time than what you might be seeing in our partners with public space management, because the special events office is often permitting things that are more complicated in nature, have a lot of touch points with a lot of different agencies across the city, county, and state. So you'll see those deadlines there. Our application deadline is 90 days prior to the event date. So that is pushing us out 3 months from now. We do receive applications after that point. Applications received within 60 days are subject to late fees. And if we receive applications within 45 days of the event date, those applications might be denied due to insufficient time to plan or review that event. To give you a sense of where those dates are landing right now, 60 days from today is June 27. So at that point, we will have already been through the group stage matches of World Cup and we'll be on to the round of 32 and round of 16 matches that we've got. 45 days from today is June 12th. So coming in hot. And here you see what that street use moratorium looks like for special events specifically. This is on match days only for use of travel lanes. So we're still looking into permitting things that are on sidewalks and or potentially using curb spaces. But there you see where we likely would not be permitting anything that is proposing to use travel lanes on those red roadways. This is also available online, so that resource will be sent out after this webinar. And if you've got questions, if you don't know what permit you might need for an event or an activity you're thinking about doing, you can reach out to our office at that cup@seattle.gov email. We'll help do the permitting wayfinding research for you so that we're not sending you to 17 different departments across the city to ask the same question. And if you know you need a special events permit, there you see our email inbox to our entire office and a phone number to give a shout to. Thank you.
Thank you, Kia. And as LCB noted, the entire city has been approved for expanded alcohol service. And so that aligns with kind of our business enhancement permits, more specifically outdoor dining. And so I want to talk through those with you all. We have one permit that aligns with this, but is different than outdoor dining. It looks somewhat similar, and that's our tables and chairs permit. So SDOT provides free tables and chairs permits to folks in Seattle, businesses that would like to have tables and chairs out in the right of way. Something that's important to know about this permit specifically is that these tables and chairs are intended to be open to the public as a public amenity. So as a business, you're not able, as a restaurant, not able to provide table service to these, as well as alcohol consumption at these tables and chairs is not allowed. But we have our outdoor dining permit, which does allow the consumption of alcohol at it, as well as it also has some benefits coming from that HB 1515 new House bill. Something to note here, which is really important, is about where we allow outdoor dining to occur within the right-of-way. And so here in this diagram, you can see that in this red area, we allow outdoor dining within the frontage zone, which is what is called right in front of the building. We also allow it in the furniture zone, which is just against the curb. And then we also allow it within the curb space, which is actually in the roadway, which is normally a parking spot. And so within those three areas, we allow all of our outdoor dining permits. Something that's important in addition to that is that we need to provide a safe and safe mobile environment for everyone who uses the sidewalk. And so we require a 6 to 8 foot, what we call pedestrian clear path, where pedestrians can move through that space. Out of that 6 to 8 feet, 3 of those feet need to be a straight path. And we can obviously work with any businesses who are interested in this to make sure that your sidewalk or right of way meet these requirements in order to allow you all to get an outdoor dining facility. So House Bill 1515, as noted, provided more flexibility for outdoor dining. One of the more important things for the city of Seattle is that we have what's called a fence-free cafe, where normally in the past that was only allowed in the frontage zone. And in that frontage zone cafe, you were able to actually have alcohol service and alcohol consumption without having a 42-inch barrier, which was required in all the other zones. Now, via House Bill 1515, that fence-free condition is now allowed in the furniture zone as well as in the curb space. And so businesses have this opportunity now to kind of have that expanded service without having to have a lot of structure and built up elements in order to protect that area. Something to note, if you get this expanded service, as LCB noted, you also have to work with them in order to get that service added to your footprint of alcohol service. And then also something to note is that these rules are expected to sunset at the end of next year. If you're in a historic district, you will also need to get historic approval for any improvements or any changes to the exterior of your property. And so we really recommend, if you are within a historic district, to coordinate with us and them simultaneously in order for us to get those permits moving forward quickly. Something that's really exciting is that we have, our team is partnered with Office of Economic Development to actually develop the seasonal cafe pilot program, where we are offering a free seasonal cafe permit to businesses that are interested in participating in this pilot. We have both an annual permit and a seasonal permit. The annual permit, obviously, it starts on that calendar day and then it goes for that entire calendar year, while the seasonal permit starts on April 1st, and then it'll end on October 31st. And then we have a way for folks who would be interested in continuing with that permit to then move into an annual permit, or wait to then get a new seasonal permit the next year. As part of this pilot program, we are assisting businesses directly with the development of their site plan and the permitting process. If interested parties want to kind of move through this process a little quicker, we really recommend proposing, permitting, and applying for a fence-free sidewalk cafe that is one either in the furniture zone or within the frontage zone. And we have been working with some historic districts in order to expedite that permitting when it is a fence-free cafe and you're only putting tables and chairs out in the right-of-way. We also have our street vending permit, which allow folks to install vending carts or vending structures within the right-of-way, either in the furniture zone or in the curb space. And then we also allow and support a merchandise display. Businesses are allowed to put merchandise display out within their frontage zone as long as they maintain a pedestrian clear path without a permit. And so that is anywhere against the building and against that facade. If you want to put merchandise display anywhere else in the right-of-way, that does require a permit. Here are some resources for permit. If you're interested in going through this permitting process, we have both permit guides as well as SDOT resources. There's also virtual coaching that is available to anyone who's interested in these permits. And then we also have an open counter at the Seattle Municipal Tower, which is downtown, where you can come Monday, Tuesday, Thursday to actually talk to someone directly. But the virtual coaching can be just as beneficial if you are interested in this. You can also reach out to me directly or public space at seattle.gov if you are interested in participating in any of these programs and would like to evaluate the feasibility for one of these at your location. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Patrick. And thank you to all of our fabulous speakers today. This is a lot of information that I know we threw at you guys, but we will send you a recording of the webinar. We'll also send this PowerPoint presentation, and we'll call out some specific links for you as well in that email. So I have a couple resources to add myself from the chamber. You will now see, perfect. You'll now see a QR code. We do have another World Cup Ready webinar training. It's about safety and de-escalation led by Captain Dan Nelson from SPD. There's also a QR code for our YouTube page that will house this webinar along with all of our past webinar recordings. And then we also have a World Cup Ready resource page that includes these webinars, upcoming events, playbooks from various associations throughout the region. And then I also will include a link, the presentation and the link with all of these resources listed here. All right. And now I'm going to ask if all of my speakers can rejoin the stage, and we'll move into the Q&A portion of today's webinar. All right, perfect. We talked a lot about timing today. So when can people start submitting applications? Let's just kick that off.
I'll go ahead and take that one, or I can start if that's okay.
Sure.
At least with the LCB, on the LCB side of things, as soon as a local jurisdiction has been approved for the expanded outdoor alcohol service authorization, licensees can submit their added activity as long as they have followed their local jurisdictions, local permitting stuff, which I think Patrick may want to speak a little more to.
Yeah. As soon as you can, contact us, reach out to us if you are interested in this. We will then immediately try to visit your site or coordinate with you on helping you develop a site plan, as well as confirming if your site is feasible for what you're trying to achieve. And then we will then work with you directly to then try to get through this permit process. We're really hoping to get as many applicants through this process prior to FIFA, recognizing that there's a huge desire to take advantage of the large number of people that will be here. And so the earlier you can reach out to us, the quicker we can assist you and hopefully move you through our process. And then you also need to, in addition to that, start coordinating with LCB as you're working with us.
Awesome, thanks. This one's for the LCB team. If a city is approved for the expanded alcohol service permit, do any potential licensees looking for added activity need to have their existing license within that approved by the city? For example, can a licensee from Bellevue apply for an added activity approval for something in Seattle?
Thanks, Amanda. I'll take that one too. So unfortunately, licensees are not able to pop up to another jurisdiction to participate. So right now, if we're speaking strictly to the city of Seattle, only licensees permanently located within Seattle can participate with the expanded outdoor alcohol service authorization. And they can only participate from their licensed premises. So even within Seattle, they cannot go participate 5 blocks away and pop up as a stand to sell and serve alcohol. Unfortunately, that's not part of this legislation. But if they want to partner up with some of their neighbors and get an expanded outdoor service area going and have everyone participate and work with Seattle and get that going, that's exactly what this is for.
And we had 2 people ask that question, so thanks for addressing that, Bridget.
Of course, thank you.
Another one directed to the LCB team. Can you share an example of of who a submitter could be as compared to participating licensees?
Yes, and I will take that one. The way that I like to explain the primary licensee and the participating licensees, you are all working together. You create your application together, your site map, your operating plan, and then one of them, who, like an example, you're at in school and have a school project that you all work together, and one person is the one to turn it in. So the primary licensee is the one to turn in the application. There's no difference in responsibility between the primary and the participating. You're just all together. You're just the one that is submitting the application. And it doesn't matter which licensee, which license type, just one person has everybody's license numbers and they are the one to get in. And I mean, license type still qualifying licensee, but it doesn't matter what your license type is within that qualifying. Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, we've got lots of questions for the LCB, more technical. What kind of barriers or boundaries should I plan for? And similarly, how large can my outdoor space be?
Yeah, I can answer that. So barrier heights are going to be determined by the local jurisdiction. As far as what the barriers are going to be, they can be permanent or movable barriers, which can be fences or something to that degree, or it can be a permanent demarcation on the ground. Permanent demarcations can be those permanent paint strips that you see, similar to like what's on streets for driving and that sort of thing, or turtles, bumps like that, planters, things of that nature. Let's see, I'm trying to think. What was the rest of the question? I'm so sorry after that.
Um, what is is there a space limit to outdoor?
Yes, thank you so much,
Yes,
Amanda.
yes.
So there is technically no limit to how large an expanded outdoor service area can be, but it is highly recommended that you work with your local jurisdiction to make sure that you are within the parameters that fits what they're looking for. So you can't necessarily just decide to take over the entire city of Seattle. I don't think that would work out very well. So please bear that in mind when you're looking into applying and working with your jurisdiction.
And if I can also add, as you get the area larger, the more responsibility you have further away from your business. So you want to have as much visibility as possible. You can be slightly adjacent and sort of have a little padlet that a few restaurants sort of that share a space, like right outside in a service area with tables and chairs for everyone to go to. But again, the further away it is, the harder it is for your mass train servers to keep an eye out and make sure that everyone is compliant in their drinking.
I love it. Kind of on a similar wavelength, we had a question just come in. Is there a way I can activate a space adjacent to our business that belongs to another business that has been shut down or not in operation? I know you just talked about like expanding, just expand your responsibility, but has this come up with you guys with a business that's not open anymore?
Not for businesses that aren't a part of it. That sadly that can't happen. There needs to be an active business and have someone that is either renting or have a permanent business on that space to be able to expand into that space. But it can't be in an abandoned area or someone that doesn't have an occupant.
Awesome. Thank you for
It-
that.
If though, so for example, if say you are a bar or a business and you want to do an outdoor dining facility and you wanted that facility to extend on the right of way and maybe go in front of that adjacent business, we do allow that at the city of Seattle. You do need to get approval from that building owner to say that we allow you to kind of come in front of our frontage. And we do allow that at the city of Seattle. So if that was something you were interested in, yeah, we can kind of work with us in getting that approved.
Gotcha. And again, on the geographical question, it sounds like businesses need to be on the same side of the street or in a cluster. Can businesses work from across the street from one another, or should that be a separate licensing process?
There's no law that says that licenses have to be directly next to each other. They technically could be like across the street or be within a cluster of like a block or something. But of course, you would need to work with your local jurisdiction to ensure that there's safety measures put in place with street traffic, foot traffic, and that sort of thing. So that is completely left up to the licensees working with their local jurisdiction to identify how that would look.
Perfect. So we've talked about licensees a lot, but how can festivals and events also apply for this expanded alcohol service for their subsequent festivals and events?
I can start this one off, but Jeanette, if you want to hop in and help me out, please feel free. So festivals and that sort of thing can definitely still participate to an extent. It's the local businesses that are going to be the ones to sell and serve alcohol. But if an event wants to be hosted within an expanded outdoor service area, that can be done. If it's a special occasion event, but hosted by a nonprofit organization, it would still be a standard special occasion. They would not be able to participate under this particular expanded outdoor alcohol service authorization that Seattle has. Jeanette, do you want to hop in here and help me out a little more?
I feel like you pretty much covered it. The only thing that I would add is there are the specific fan zone authorizations, and Seattle has already designated what those areas are. And so there are some businesses involved in those ones. So if you are someone that is in one of those areas, please email us and we can assist you with working on the fan zone part of it. But that's the one where it sounds like it's a little bit different for that. But that's specific, those areas have already been decided by the city.
Thank you both. I'm going to put this over to the Seattle team. Do we have a contact person for Seattle? And don't know if you know the answer to this. How do local businesses connect with their local government if they aren't an approved city? But let's start with who's the contact person for Seattle?
So if it's for outdoor dining, that would be myself. And then if it's for the larger events that go beyond the 300-person threshold, then that would be Kia or the special events office. And then if there are other cities that are interested in applying for this permit, they can reach out to me, and I can get them in contact with the person who applied for our permit if they would, if other jurisdictions would like some kind of guidance in how to actually apply for the, to get that expanded service for their municipality.
Fabulous. Thank you for that. And thanks for jumping in to help guide people to where they can get their answers if you don't have that. Pivoting back to timelines, I know Kia talked about timelines and how we're kind of in the midst of timelines already, and applications and deadlines have come and gone. Is there any way to get licenses expedited, or any tips and tricks to help get your application as polished as possible to help expedite and shorten any timelines?
Yeah, I mean, I've shared that 90-day deadline, also the 60-day deadline. Our office, the special events office, will receive applications after that 90-day point. But the more complicated the event is, the harder it will be for us to expedite things, frankly. So hate the answer, it depends, but it really depends on what the scope and scale and the complications are of the event. If it's small closure, not that many people, not that many needs from different agencies, it's possible to do it on that tighter deadline between 60 and 45 days. I'll be really transparent. Doing things within 45 days right now will be extremely tough, if not impossible, from the special events perspective, because we have so many things in the hopper right now. For perspective, we have 173 applications in process right now. So
that is quite timeline. Go on, sorry, Jeanette.
And I'll pop in on the LCB side. So for us, we're asking for an expanded outdoor added activity we're asking for up to 30 days for us to process the application. It can be faster. It is also your response to us. So when we send emails with questions, we get responses back. All of your participating licensees are in the portal. All of those things help the application go a lot quicker. So that can shorten our 30 days process once you have worked with the city.
And for the outdoor dining side, just simplifying, like I noted before, if it's just a simple fence-free cafe on the sidewalk, and as long as you have enough space, then that should be a pretty straightforward permit. We're hoping to get those, no guarantee, around 2 weeks. Our normal permit timeline's around 6 weeks normally. And so if things are simple, we should be able to push that through fairly quickly. If you start wanting to do things with on the street and the curb space, that requires more approvals, as well as in historic areas. Certain historic areas might be a little more challenging. And so, yeah, we try to provide people with updated pretty precise timelines for expectations once we talk with that business about their site and what is available to them. And so, yeah, hopefully it'll vary between 2 to 6 weeks at this time.
Gotcha. And I do have a question about enforcement. Are minors restricted from the expanded outdoor service area? And if so, what do we do about that?
I don't believe they are. So the minors can commingle with the people who are drinking alcohol in the shared space. Just obviously got to say this, so make sure that the staff and security are keeping an eye out for pass-offs or for any minors trying to get their hands on alcohol and drink it. So yeah, there is no restriction on minors commingling in these spaces with the people who are drinking alcohol.
Gotcha. It kind of goes back to Jeanette's point, like the larger your space, the less control you have. So that just also need to keep in mind that minors are allowed in your space.
Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Can I use my license after the World Cup? Can we talk about like expiration dates?
Yeah, yes, we can talk that. So for specifically the expanded outdoor activity, that is allowed from now until the end of next year. So this has been, the bill was triggered by the FIFA events that are coming, but it's expanded, it's expanded past that time. So you have until the end of next year to do the expanded outdoor service. The only things that are going to be cut off are the fan zones are specifically through June and July.
Yeah, and for the outdoor dining permits, you can maintain your permit for longer than that end of next year. Just that some of the requirements might have to change, or how your cafe might look might have to change or get updated in order to meet the prior requirements from LCB.
Gotcha. And then on that wavelength of expanding, in order to capitalize on serving this large of a crowd, is it possible to allow brick and mortar businesses to sell food or cocktails to go?
So I'll take that. So I wouldn't say specifically to go. If they are part of an expanded service, the drink can be taken out of the restaurant and into the expanded service area, but it can't take in this bill and what we're doing, you can't take it past the expanded service area. So it doesn't add a to go feature, but it adds a extra place to consume and eat your food.
It adds like a 10 steps to go.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Within the
Yeah.
barrier to
And
go.
the way I like to say it is you have one family member that likes a specific beer, so they're going to go to this bar, one that likes their cocktails over here, so they'll grab that, and then our kid wants mac and cheese, so I'll get that from here. We all sit at a table and enjoy it together. So
All right, well, that brings us to time. We did have a couple of questions that didn't go answered. We will follow up with you directly on those. Again, we will send the link to the recording. We'll include all of these resources that were shared. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to guide you to our speakers. I want to say thank you to our wonderful speakers today. It was a pleasure working with you guys, and happy World Cup if we don't see each other before. Take care, everyone. Bye now.